Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by XFC Lightweight Nick Newell. Nick, how are you?
Good, I'm great. Very happy to be on the show.
Sure, glad to have you. Nick, how did you get started in MMA?
Well, basically, my start to MMA was kind of a long one. I started off wrestling in high school. I used to be a fan of pro wrestling, and I kind of thought it might be the same thing. It wasn't. It was extremely different and extremely hard and a new thing, and I loved it. I enjoyed the challenge, and I kind of wrestled through high school, and then I found out about MMA when I was in college and trained here and there until I graduated, and I really dedicated myself full-time to it.
You've been a pro since 2009. You're 8-0. That is kind of a misleading record because for a long time there you struggled to get fights. 8-0 for a guy who's been fighting in 2009, it seems like a good record, but your record should be, you should have more fights. How difficult was it finding fights early on?
Yeah, it definitely was hard. At first, when I first started fighting amateur, I didn't really actually have too hard of a time finding fights. I got fights pretty regularly, and I was beating guys, and I was fighting good guys, the best amateurs around, and I was beating them. So when I turned pro, everyone wants to protect their record and, pad their record, and so they really just kind of avoided me at all costs, and it was really hard for me to find fights. And the guys I did fight, were tough, good attitude, real fighters, so I was happy about that, but I definitely should have a lot more fights. I went through a lot of stuff where guys would pull out week of, or, they wouldn't show up to weigh-ins, or this and that, so it was rough.
With all the guys who pulled out, like you said, and with all these guys who, refused to fight you, was there ever a time when you thought maybe this wasn't going to be an option for you, maybe you weren't going to be able to fight, or did you always keep a positive mindset that you just waited out, eventually your time will come where you'll be able to get a lot of fights?
No, I always knew that I would get fights. I never really let it discourage me too bad. It stunk, like training really hard for a fight camp and taking days off work to get extra days of training in, and then having someone cancel on you or pull out of a fight. But I use that time in between fights to train the whole time. I don't just train when I have a fight, to train all the time because I want to get better, and I use that time to really better myself as a fighter. So it actually ended up helping me, in the long run, because I'm able to go out and perform better and show something new every single time I fight.
You signed with Shark Fights a while back. I don't even know if they're in business anymore, but you were scheduled to fight, I believe, at Shark Fights 19. You had to withdraw due to injury, but whatever happened with them? How come we never saw you fight for Shark Fights?
Basically, they just didn't have the frequency of shows.
Mm-hmm.
Their organization just, the offer that the XFC gave me was a lot better, and I went with that instead. And the XFC is a bigger organization, they have the contract with AXS TV, and, I just liked what they were offering a lot better than what Shark Fights had offered me, and I felt like it was the right career move for me.
Mm-hmm. Now, the XFC, they first learned about you through their open tryouts. What was that experience like, going through that open tryout?
It was cool. I went just kind of, I just said, let's just give it a go, I knew I was going to do good. I knew how good I was. And it was a good way for me, as someone that was having trouble finding fights, I said, hey, I'll win this thing, and then I can, from there, no one can avoid me. I'll have an organization that will help me out and push me and work really hard to find me fights. And so I went, and I did good. I didn't win. My friend won, Abby Mestre.
Right.
And he got the contract, and he got into a motorcycle accident and passed away. We lost him, and XFC offered it to me. I feel like it should be both of us fighting for the XFC, but, I'm happy with the opportunity that I got. I just wish my friend was here to share it with me.
Right.
But, it's a great organization, and I'm very happy to fight for them. did good. I was finalist in the trials, and top flight organization right there, XFC. So you can't complain about fighting for them. Great shows, and I actually can't wait to watch your show tonight.
Right, we'll get to that in a second. But you made your XFC debut at XFC 15. You submitted Dennis Hernandez. Then the next time you fought for XFC, it was at XFC 17. You fought against Chris Coggins. It was a majority decision, a very tough fight. Is that the toughest fight of your career?
Definitely the toughest fight. I thought I did pretty good the first round. I couldn't really find any video on him. I didn't know how his stand-up was, what to expect, and he was really awkward, so it kind of threw me off. And so the first round, I took him down and worked the ground and pound for the whole round. Second round, he took me down and he took my back, and he was like a spider monkey, man. I couldn't get him off. I'm usually pretty good at getting people off. If I get taken down, I usually stand up right away, but he was real good, and he just had good position, and I couldn't get out. He put on a tight choke, but I don't fight to come in second place. I fight to be a winner. I'm never going to quit in a fight. I'm never looking for an out. When I'm in a fight, that's somewhere I want to be. That's my job. That's my life. So when something doesn't go right at your job, you don't just quit right away. You tough it out and you see what can happen. And then the third round, I kind of figured him out a little bit, his rhythm and everything. And I beat him to the punch, I think, with the striking, and then took him down again and just controlled him and won the decision.
Was it good for you that the fight went as long as it did? Because up until that point, you had finished everyone in the first round really quickly. Was it good for you that you were taken into those deep waters? I'm sure you would have loved to gone in there and did what you did before, with the quick stoppages. But was it good that you went to the later rounds?
Definitely, because now I have that under my belt. I have that war. So when I go the distance, or again, it's not going to be unfamiliar territory to me. It's going to be something I've been through before. The cardio and everything is going to be different because it's going to be a lot more relaxed and ready for that second, third, now fourth, fifth round that I'm fighting for the title next. I always train hard and I come in good shape. But going through that war is something that you really need. And I got that under my belt, so I'm ready for anything.
Your last fight was at XFC 19 against David Mays. You won the fight by knockout. How did you feel about your performance in the fight?
I thought it was I'm usually pretty hard on myself, but I thought it was pretty flawless. My coach gave me a game plan, and I just followed it to the T. Everything he told me to do, I just listened to him, and it ended up working beautifully.
How big was that for you, showing another aspect of the game, showing people that you have more than just the submissions, you can also knock people out? Because that was just beautiful how you were able to pull the head down as you were bringing the knee up. I just thought it was just an amazing performance. How big was that for you to show that you have another element to the game that people need to be worried about?
Huge, absolutely huge. Because at first, when I first started fighting, they say, "Oh, he's just a wrestler." I just was in college. Then I start tapping everyone out, and they say, "Oh, he's got submissions." So I'm a college wrestler with a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and they say, "Oh, well, whatever." When he fights if he has to strike, he's going to lose to anyone. And now I show that I really have knockout power, and I have good striking too. I work hard, I want to come into the fight prepared for anything, and I really showed everyone that I do have the striking, and that I do hit hard, and I can knock someone out as easy as I can take you down and submit you.
Nick, I'm just curious, why aren't you... Go ahead. Sorry.
David Adam Mays is a tough fight. That was his 26th fight. Really big amateur career and a great pro career. So to do it against someone that good, it meant a lot to me.
Nick, I'm just curious, why aren't you fighting tonight at XFC 20?
I'm not fighting tonight because they want to save me for their end of the year show, which is going to be their biggest show. And it doesn't really bother me because I'm taking this time to get better as a fighter and better myself and let my body heal and learn some new stuff. I'm very new to this game. A lot of people don't realize that. I started training in 2005, but I did 1-2 months a year. Once a week. I was wrestling and I was in college, so I didn't really dedicate myself to it until late 2008. or mid-2008. So I've been doing this for only 4 years. So there's a lot of things that I still have to learn, and the best version of me is still a few years away.
Mm-hmm. Has the XFC, have they told you that it's going to be Eric Reynolds in December, or are they wait to see until what happens tonight, because he is fighting in the main event? What have they told you?
Yeah, he's fighting the main event tonight. Mm-hmm. If he wins, then it's him. Mm-hmm. Definitely 100%. I'm fighting him. If he loses, I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to end up fighting. Mm-hmm. The XFC has a lot of great lightweights, so I'm really not in a position to complain about who I would have to fight, and I really don't care who I fight, because I'm ready to go with anyone in the world.
Mm-hmm. Now, Nick, are you a full-time fighter, or do you work another job?
I had a full-time job for a while, but I got laid off, and I'm currently searching, but as for right now, I'm just training full-time and really dedicating myself to this.
Mm-hmm. And Nick, you tried out for, I believe it was season 13 of The Ultimate Fighter. What was that experience like?
It was good. I went out there. I tapped the guy out with Plata. I did good on the pads. I passed. I did great in the interview, and I went out to Vegas for the second part of the tryouts, but they just decided not to go with me. I mean, it's their choice. It's their show. At the time, I was only 4-0. I was actually 3-0 when I tried out, and then 4-0 by the time it would have came around for me to fight on the show. And they said they wanted me to have more experience. So, it's not my choice. And XFC kind of took the opportunity that they could have had, and I'm fighting for them, and I'm 8-0. So, is that
a goal of yours down the road, to make it to the UFC, or does it really not matter to you that much?
Absolutely. A lot of the best fighters in the world are there, and they, that's where all the money is, and the publicity. And if you really want to make a great living for yourself and set up a future, that's where you want to be. And I really want to challenge myself. But the XFC has a lot of great fighters right now. I'm very happy where I am. They're rising pretty fast, and they got a great thing going on. But obviously, the UFC is the goal. And I'm ready. I can compete with anyone in the UFC, and honestly, a lot of the guys I see in there right now, I could beat pretty easy, I think.
Mm-hmm. You are, without a doubt, the face of the XFC right now. Would you be disappointed if you finished your career out with XFC? Because they have a lot of big things planned going forward.
No, the XFC is great. I said that before. Mm-hmm. They're awesome. They're amazing, and they're doing a great job. And I think John Prisco's running that company right. And his choices and the moves that he's made are very good. I'm very loyal to XFC. I like them a lot, and they got great things going. So I'm very happy to fight for them.
Mm-hmm. Nick, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you would like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to thank my teams, Fighting Arts Academy in Springfield, Mass., Ultimate MMA in North Haven, Connecticut, Fitness Concept in Orange, Connecticut for strength and conditioning, Combat Sports Agency, Napoli Deli in Milford, Connecticut, Orange Ale House in Orange, Connecticut, and On Time Screen Printing in Derby, Connecticut for having my back. I really have a good support system from local businesses, and I'm a lucky guy. I have a great team, great people backing me, and I'm ready to fight anyone who comes my way. As for my fans, I love them all. They're great. I have a great support system online. Facebook.com/Nick Newell MMA, and on Twitter and Instagram at Notorious Newell. And I call my Newelligans, and they're cool as hell. And I couldn't ask for a better group of fans, and supporters, more friends than anything else, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Nick, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it.